Hey, what's going on, friends? Good to see all you lemon heads tuning in. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the call. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Let me know what you're most excited about too while you're at it. We'll just give everyone a few minutes. Just give everyone just a minute to get on. I try and start on time. Very cool. Squeeze some lemons. Yeah, I like it. In from Atlanta, very nice. Brisbane, I love it. Good to see you. And hey, the Anzac crew, all the people from down under lately are very fired up about the lemons. I love it. It's great to see, guys. Squeeze some lemons. Way to go, Corey. I like it. Toronto with the lemons. Yes, very nice. Guys are all on here. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Very cool. So before we get into this, I just want to let you know you're going to hear me repeat this a few times, so I apologize. But last second, Jay got some unexpected phone calls that lasted too long. His phone was dying. He reached out to Jake last minute. Jake, and I heard from Jake and Jay just kind of last few minutes, really about 10 minutes before getting on this call here, and then Travis called. So I didn't get a chance to put anything out. So I wanted to say that I'm coming on and doing a live today. We will do it a little bit of a Q&A format. We will keep it a little shorter today. And then Jay has asked me if I could do something 5 hours from now. So 5 hours from now, I will be going live with Jay himself. But today, if you guys want to just powwow about it, since the call was scheduled, I didn't want to come on here and break any commitments and leave you guys hanging. And I know that the Telegram groups are always full of questions. So if we take some of them on here, we create less clutter in the groups. So I think we should just get down with that, keep it a little shorter and sweeter, tackle some things, tackle some of the housekeeping stuff, and then we'll be back on again later on. So let's get into it. So you guys have all seen now that the debt NFTs are available for Lemon Swap NFTs. That has gone live for the very first time in a long time anywhere in this debt umbrella ecosystem. Have we finally had some mining and staking going on again? So it is just awesome it's shocking how exciting the little things are to see tokens kind of flowing out. And we've been hearing about this new lemon idea. You guys have been hearing about it for probably a month. I've been hearing about it for longer than that. It's very exciting to see it going live and real. And I know there's more stuff coming out this week, which I find to be very exciting. So with new things coming out this week, there's going to be more. So it's not just the token distribution. For those of you who saw, speaking of token distribution, if you have debt micros, I hope you saw that we have a group. That debt micros group allows you. Yeah, correct, Doug. Thank you. Let me put that on here. That is going to happen, by the way, Doug. It's I'm counting on that as being firm. So we have the new debt micro pools with Aldo, so you can consolidate all of your debt micros into a pool, and then you can still get some lemon seeds being dropped into your account. The way that's going to work is Aldo is doing superhero work over there. So we're really grateful for that. And Aldo is going to compile them all into different pools. And then at certain dedicated time slots, we will redistribute out proportionally how many debt micros you put into your account. So at least you get in on the 1 week when there's almost nobody, right? There's less than 1,000 right now NFTs currently mining them Lem coins. So it's really nice for us to be picking those up right now. Alternatively, Shelly also called me today with a great plan because we were in this micro swap group trying to come up with something that works to do something that makes sense for everybody. And Shelly came up with a great idea. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to that debt micro swap group. If you want to communicate about it, you are free to make trades with people if you feel that you can. It's pretty complicated to do, and hence why Shelly's solutions come up. But with that idea, you can then go and consolidate all your micros into one wallet, send Shelly a direct message just with the details of what you sent over. And for every block of 100 micros, you will get a swappable NFT. So the whole goal of this pool is just to create, give everybody more options for swappability. So you can get yourself more Lemflix when it comes out this week, because it's coming out this week. It's not an idea any longer. It's ready. It's time. We are also going to see the 4 legacy projects move over. I think they will go live. I think as long as the tech gods are friendly, we will finally return to airdrops. I think we will finally, finally get that first swappability functionality, if you will. So I'm really excited about having that swappability function. And so to me, just in my personal opinion, that is the wise move right now, is to get yourselves in front of some of these new and exciting Lemon projects at their very first earliest days of mining. We always say mining, right? We're all addicted to those terms, of reward distributions for your staking. But you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm excited for that. I think that's the right move. Everyone should take advantage of that. And we've got groups to do that. And then you just DM Shelly, make it really clean, really simple. She'll just hit you back in the wallet address that you provided to her with some swappable NFTs. And that allows you to max out your value, because micros are not coming over to the Lemon side. And if anyone saw the official announcement that came out on the other side, well, you're probably feeling a little underwhelmed, to say the least, and that's an understatement. So hence the sentiment. All right, so friends, hit me up with some questions. We're going to keep this call short and sweet since Jason has had to postpone. He will be coming on 5 hours from now, but I did not want to break the commitment since this came through just last minute. And I know some of you scheduled and plan your lives around this. Some of you schedule your lunch breaks around getting on this call. So I want to be on here for you, minimize the questions coming in through the chat groups, see if I can take on some Q&A stuff with you, do a little housekeeping, talk about all those micro swaps and stuff, so we can get going. And then so we can powwow on that, keep this short, and jump on another call a little bit later on, since we haven't had one since Friday especially. So we could swap L2 project tokens into Lemon tokens when it comes to, so we can mint more FTs. While we are talking about the L2 micro projects, converting them into full NFTs so they can be swapped into Lemon NFTs. And right now you can currently swap the debt utility token for the Lem utility token NFTs. Those are available right now. I don't think you missed any announcements. Let's see what we got. Maybe, I don't think. The airdrop chatter. Sure, let's take that on. So it's been a long time, a very long time, a shamefully long time since any of us have seen airdrops as per the original contracts. On our original licenses, the original nodes and NFTs that we have, there were airdrop contracts that every month you were supposed to get an airdrop of certain tokens based on the corresponding tokenomics. And we have not seen that for a long time. And that's a problem. And some of the J&J projects, which are moving over Lemon side, they are, I can at least speak for them, they are about to resume airdrops. I can't say the exact date or time, but very soon. And more importantly, we're going to resume the tokenomics on those projects very soon, hoping this week, but I'm not positive on that. And when they do, that should start to increase the balance in the accounts of the airdrops, so they start to get back to juicy again. So we're excited to get a squeeze of the juice. Good to see the Indians on the call. I love it. I think it's pretty damn late over there, so that's impressive. Yeah, I'll let you go find it, Jess. It's thrilling, I promise. So for everyone, sending drip and or rev micros will receive a swap NFT or just an OG NFT. Sten, Shelly and I discussed that. We aren't sure what to do with those as of yet. A lot of those projects, like in the case of Rev, the Rev micros had a time and a place. And because the supply was never minted out, the micros actually generated a decent amount of tokens in the early days. At this point, they no longer really serve any value. And they're also, micros are just not a part of the Lem ecosystem. And so, you know, we just kind of feel like maybe we should donate those, and we're going to use them some charity. We don't know. We haven't fully decided. That's just the honest truth. But we do know some people in the ecosystem who are hurting. And if you do send over some of those what I call the J&J NFTs that are moving over, we're going to try and find some good uses for those micros anyway. We're going to try and create lemonade out of lemons, right? So we do appreciate your donations. Please do donate all the micros that you have if you like the idea. And but what we are sending back with the emphasis is on swappable NFTs so people can participate in the new projects. That's the plan. Good to see Nick chiming in from Nigeria. Very nice. Let's see what we got here. Corey Reynolds. The 4 projects coming across the micros will no longer be producing, so we may as well. Right. I mean, this is what I think, Corey, exactly. Like those micros just aren't generating anything of significance. So why don't we just pool them together and try and find a way to get some value out of them today, here and now, for whoever we can help. And that's the idea. So make it easy on Shelly. Make it easy on Aldo, friends. Yeah, Doug, I wish. Those are great questions to go ask in those other chats if you dare. And it's a project I used to be extremely excited about, and it's just all very disappointing across the board. And so until real news comes out on that front, I'm going to swap them out and go to where the grass is certainly looking a lot greener. Suzanne, when a reward starts showing up in our Lemon Tree wallet, I staked Lemon NFT 2 days ago. Yeah, Suzanne, they are in there, but you're currently getting distributions that are fractions of a token, and they need to fix the display to show the fractions of tokens. Right now, the display just shows full tokens, or like 1 decimal point, I think. So you're gonna, if you wait tomorrow or at some point in time in the nearest future, you're gonna see those fractions turn into a 1, and then you'll see the 1 lem there. But it is producing, it is distributing. Everything's good on that front. What do you know about requirements for validators? Any estimates for costs? Yeah, William, I wish I knew. I've heard some very different things, and I think the honest truth is that they are trying to decide what's best. I think there's a group of people who probably have some differences of opinion of what that should look like, and debating the pros and cons of it. And I will try and get that out of Jay 5 hours from now when he comes live, literally. And we'll see if we can get that clarity, because I think I heard last that the pre-sale to get that started was going to come on the 15th. So early adopters are going to get some kind of preferential way to step into that arena, and I'm excited about it. But you're going to, long story short, let me Cole's notes it again for you again. You're either going to have your own hardware at home, which I don't recommend, or you're going to rent out some kind of cloud processing service, which I do recommend. And then you're going to need a minimum amount of staking to prove that you and I are aligned with the goals and interests of the network and of the chain, and that we want it to go forward, and we're not on the chain to sabotage it. We're there to help move it forward. And so I think that the financial requirements are probably going to be mostly around that. If we have enough and you want to request, I've been able to accommodate you if you request a Blocks Bev Rev Drip, but I can't guarantee it. There you hear it from Shelly herself. She's the one managing that program. Big applause to Shelly. Shelly, we appreciate you a lot. I loved your suggestion and love that you were willing to take it on. So that's super cool. But yes, our emphasis, generally speaking, is on swappable NFTs, friends, and we're going to go with that. Right. Why keep those micros, right, Doug? There's no point in keeping any of those micros, like, in my mind. So you should, just try and get the most squeeze out of the juice. And if you donate a few micros here and there, know that they're going to help somebody. So what do we got here? What do we know about the Lembank project in terms of what it contributes to royalties? I do not know what the math will look like, but what I do know is that with the Lembank, portions of Lembank are not going to be royalty available because of banking laws and stuff. It becomes very gray area. But Lembank will have some kind of ancillary, let's call them non-core banking products and services that they are going to monetize, and those are royalty eligible. So that I do know up to this today. So this week is technically the commencement of year 2 of Lem distribution. Yes, correct. And so, listen, they were faced with a lot of hard choices, friends. Like, we have to get this thing started. We can't have an ecosystem without tokens, right? So you need a utility token. You can't just invent it out of nowhere. It's got to be mined or distributed into existence in some kind of equal distribution fashion of some form. And so here we are. So now we have the tokens. We can't have an L1 blockchain without having validators. So the validators are the next step. And then after that, then we can have an L1 chain, right? The same way we're using Binance Smart Chain currencies for now. Those are serving as utility functions for now, because what we'd really like to do in your own chain is collect and move everything through the utility token. So soon we'll collect everything in Lemon gas fees, but we need to get there. There's all these sequential steps that must happen. Other sequential steps are having the apps and the wallets and the things that grease the wheels and make everything work. And they are all on the verge of complete. They've been virtually complete for a while, so I get that. I get a little impatient as well. But every time I seek an update, I'm hearing that they're damn near ready to roll, and that's exciting. And so then we're going to move the old projects over, pair them to LEM token. Now we have a LEM token, couldn't pair them to something, so we didn't have a LEM token. Now that we do, we can pair them, and we could do some other exciting things on that front and hopefully get those projects back up to exciting days. The sooner the better. I mean, why would you want to wait why wait for any of it stuff? Shelly doesn't want to do this forever. We don't want to do this forever. We don't want our groups clogged with it forever. I'm like very tired of chasing all the groups and all the PMs. I'm trying, friends, but just the sooner we get that done, the sooner you can swap your NFTs over. And I just think that's the smart move right now. So fun crystal ball question. How much could these new I'm waiting for Aldo to come out with some of that stuff. I know he's chomping at the bit, but you guys have got him so busy with the debt micro conversions to get into the Lemon swaps that I don't think he's had the time to do the math that he likes to do. And Aldo always does great math, so I'd rather let him speak upon it. But at the end of the day, it's just so hard to gauge where it will be. We know the finite token supply. We know the token distribution. We can work through that token distribution. I can talk about that some with you guys and give you some ballparks on that. But the big part of the equation is, what are the royalties going to be, right? We saw also very impressive, far less aggressive, but very impressive tokenomics in previous projects. But when the trust stops buying and the liquidity dries up and the buying power is not there, the tokenomics don't work so good, right? But they work really good when we have both. And I think we're about to see a lot of that. And so then we can start to break down a little bit more of where it looks like. We'll have to see how people behave with the tokens that they get as distribution. So let me take on some other questions, and maybe we can come back to what that token supply is going to look like in all those L2 projects that are about to hit. Can you swap BEV, drip, rev, or box? No, you cannot switch them. And no, you don't need to do anything. No, you don't need to unstake them. No, you don't need to do anything with them unless we are further instructed, unless there's a tech problem we need to compensate for. Those are all automatically, all of it for those projects will show up in your LEM wallet and you will be good to go. So I'm excited about that, but they are not swappable for new Lemon projects. If we unstaked our BEV, drip, rev blocks on the rewards debt box side, are we still okay? Yes, I believe there's nothing for you to do because it should be all tied to the blockchain. However, there is no reason to unstake any of those because they're moving over no matter what. Might as well just leave them staked. They're just going to move. So I would just do nothing with those. NatG is burned. I think it was 93% I saw in the last Enkeys Dune app. I think it was 93. I heard someone say. So it's in and around there. Black gold is less. I think it was around 80%, something like that, Doug, last I saw. Still an enormous number. So yeah, if you guys have questions, keep them coming. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about the token distribution that I was asked about over here until we see other questions come in. For those of you who don't understand, and I don't want to, had I planned ahead and knew I was going solo and taking this on today, I would have brought, the problem is I have to convert the graphics to a PDF to upload it into this platform. So actually, if anyone wants to upload the token distribution charts, I've seen a few of them floating around. and get it into PDF and somehow get it over to me quick. Maybe I can pull that up. But you have to realize that almost the entire EGI pool within 4 quarters on all these new projects is empty. And that's not including matching burns and all the other EGI pools. That's not including what day traders do. That's not including people selling their tokens, trying to selling their tokens, because they need money to buy into the next upcoming project. It's not including any of those things. So basically what I'm saying to you is probably within 12 months, there is going to be 0 token distribution on any of these NFTs. And probably the majority of the tokens that were distributed will probably not be in holding currently. Most of them will probably gotten burned and cut out. And so long as there's big royalties coming in, when that kind of stuff happens, and you've got a utility token that's doing really well, notice how I go in a straight line. I'm not even on an angle because I'm kind of expecting a straight line here. Just my personal opinion, just my personal hallucinations, not financial advice, not guaranteed. But I think I kind of expect that. So between that pressure and a token supply that's shrinking by the day, by the hour, it's going to be exciting. It's not like the old tokenomics projects that were designed to have a slower trickle, for 10, 20, 30 years. These are hard and fast. You get in early, you're going to do great, but you just got to hold. And if we all hold and no one's selling, it's going to get even more exciting. See a couple more questions popping up. So in the meantime, I'll take those on. What is the official date and time we can purchase Lemon NFTs? I think the date's moving is the problem, Chris. Some things have gotten delayed. There was a little bit of a tech snag, that kind of stuff. And then there's always moving goalposts in terms of, and let's face it, we love Jay, but he changes his mind a lot. But he's just trying to find out how he get the most squeeze out of the juice, right? What's the most fair and what's the best for the ecosystem are the questions he's always asking. So I would say that I think the rest of everyone are going to be able to get the NFTs on or around the 14th. And I would say we'll probably get a token listing around that time, which would be great because then all NFTs that you don't swap for that are purchased or that you pay the minting fee on, when you pay the minting fee, that's all going to be in LemX tokens. So that's something to be on the lookout for. We saw one FT. No, Mark, when it comes to swapping, there's no limits to swapping. Swap as many as you want at all at once. Done. Thanks. That is amazing. Cool, Doug. Glad that helped. Yes, Pat, I'm with you. I do like my hallucinations also, especially when those hallucinations are with shiny objects that are almost like yellow and glistening and and I it's like counting sheep while you're sleeping, I don't know about you guys, but ever since I met the Andersons, I've lost a lot of sleep. And for a long time, it was all losing sleep on good news with fun hallucinations. And then it was nightmare. And the nightmare is just finally coming to an end. And we're back to hallucinating about exciting stuff. So I dig that. So I like it so much better. Wine-induced hallucination. Yeah, no wine today. No wine yesterday. We do take breaks, but I do like it. Who are we kidding here, right? It's delicious stuff when you drink the good stuff. I'm not talking about bad stuff. Speaking of hallucinations, right? As long as all the projects go to the way we hallucinate, and I always want Aldo to be right, especially if Aldo's right, then yeah, you can drink the finest wines in the world at any time, and that's also something nice to hallucinate about, right? So it's good. So yeah, if you guys have more questions, keep them coming. If you do want to talk about tokenomics a little bit more, we can get into that a little bit. I haven't memorized the new light papers, but I don't try and memorize it because I have a great understanding of the big picture of it. You know what I mean? And that's all I care about. I know that the details work themselves out. Like I'm not a minute detail guy all the time. So yeah, always got to have some people who don't belong in the group. So you know what I mean? Are the L2 projects minting also limited to one per? Yes, on the Lemon side, when it comes to paying minting fees, they are all limited of one project per day per wallet, but not on the swaps. There's no limit to the swaps. We are going to burn those old NFTs as fast as possible, get in on the new ones as quick as possible, do amazing, be excited about it. I'm very excited about it. You get on there and you go do that, and then you're all set to go. And then when the new projects come out, you can decide if you want to mint. And here's what I think is going to play out. I think in the early days, there's going to be very little minting because people are going to kind of watch and wait and see what their LEM tokens do. They don't want to give them up for too cheap. So I think the swapping is where the bulk of the NFTs for the early days, let's call it July, will come from. Because even if new people come to the ecosystem, it's going to take them a little while. It's going to take them a minute to figure out what we're really up to and what we're on to. And so they will, they'll make their choices there. No max button. There is no max button, but there is no maximum on the swaps. Can we access LemFlex itself, not the NFT? Stan, I've seen websites circulating around, but the last that I had heard was that was kind of like it's like a template site. It wasn't fully done, and I think I think there's just a few things that need to be done. Let's just leave it at that. But I think we're going to see that this week, where you and I, as NFT holders, why would we not be supporting our own platform? I'm going to go become a LemFlix subscriber, and hopefully they're bringing on better content than all the other crappy platforms because they just don't make good stuff anymore, right? But I'm going to be a Netflix subscriber, a LemFlix subscriber either way. I'm still going to keep my TV viewing to a minimum, but whenever you want to relax once in a while, just watch a movie and unplug. Hopefully LemFlix will have lots of great stuff for us very soon. So, no, there is no max min button and no max swap buttons for now. But understand that's very frustrating for the whales. That's very good for the ecosystem long term. We don't want a whale to come in with one click of a button and grab 10,000 NFTs. That dilutes us big time, and that also long term concentrates all the proceeds into a few wallets, and that scares institutional investors. Institutional investors do not want to put their money down when too much power is in too few hands, because at the click of a button, they could just liquidate everyone and destroy the value. So that makes them very uneasy. And speaking of institutional money, you guys ready for a little hint? Just a little seed. I don't want to say too much, but there is a PR announcement in the works. This, of course, may change. I'm absolutely not in control of it. I think still coming in this month. And we are already, at least 1 week is already gone. So this month, hopefully long before the last day of the month, somewhere in there, I think there's going to be a big PR announcement with some really big brands and big name players that I think are going to attract enormous traditional media attention, enormous crypto media attention. And I also think, more importantly, for those of us holders, it's going to attract a lot of attention from big institutional style money. The VCs, the hedge funds, the big crypto funds, that kind of stuff. I think when they see that kind of PR, they're going to be pretty quick to rush over and figure out what we got going on over here. So I'm excited about that. So we have a narrow window basically to fill our bags and get in front of what looks like, no, certainly not guaranteed and certainly not in my control, what looks like a tsunami on the way. And you've heard it from Jay himself too. I'm not the only one talking about whiplashing real soon. And it's because some birdies know just a little bit more than some other birdies. And that's why we feel like a whiplash is cooking in the books. How long after swapping LemFlix will be able to buy tokens? When the new projects go live after they are minted, staked, and distributing tokens, I always expect, and I think you should too, that the tokens will get listed very quickly. So I don't know if that's 72 hours or 7 days, but I would say within that window, maybe even sooner. they know that we are all really impatient and we're done waiting, and they know that, and they feel the same way. So we're trying to speed up everything possible to get this thing out without, you know, without compromising and making a bad decision. You know what I mean? So I think all the tokens and all these projects are going to land really quick and go live and end up on some exchange somewhere. There's a lot of FOMO, Chris, but there is an unlimited NFT supply the way the model has transitioned over here. So there is no such thing as them selling out. There just is. The only thing that exists is we could get to a critical mass point where the math ceases to make sense to get NFTs when you could just go get tokens. And as the token price starts to really go up because the pressure on the buying side of people going to get tokens instead of getting NFTs, as that increases, it then makes the NFTs more attractive on the other side and buying tokens a little less attractive. And that free market seesaw should balance itself out. So that's exactly the way it's architected to do. So yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to drop some hints, right? I didn't want you guys to waste your time this afternoon. Come on here and hear nothing exciting. I don't want it to be just a boring Q&A. I don't want to sound like I'm in a funeral parlor on a live, as some people seem to think. Hey, if you guys want, the next time Jason's on, I can ask him what his favorite color is too, right? I like talking about things of substance, right? So I didn't name the brands, but I'm just telling you there's a PR event being cooked up. There's that big October one, which you've heard about, but there's also one in July. So barring any changes, so don't take this as me promising you one. I'm just saying that's what I'm hearing is cooking in the background. And so I hope that does happen. And I think it's going to attract a lot of eyeballs, just the media attention alone, right? So whether you believe or doubt the partnerships that may or may not happen, or the ability of the media partners to attract large amounts of eyeballs here or not, whether you believe in any of those things is kind of irrelevant if big PR events come out and then everyone in crypto and everyone in TradFi is talking about you. That kind of gets the job done. Just the news itself, that's the event, potentially. Do you think we will be able to buy the LEMX for the validators? Yeah, you have to. You can't be a validator without LEMX. No way around it. Now, being it's like I was joking around with the Down Under crowd. I was joking, but hashtag not joking. We don't know what that's going to be. It's not going to be a set number of LEMX tokens. So depending on what the price does, you might need 100 LEMX tokens, but you might need 0.01 LEMX tokens also. Just don't know. It depends on the price, depends on the requirements, depends on the whatever. But one thing's for certain, you need LEMX to do it. So you're either going to go buy them in the market when they list, which I do not believe is happening before the 14th, the last I had heard, but that could also change. And the NFTs will be mintable soon. You're going to have that option soon. And for those of you who are participating in an Aldo pool, for example, you already have some LEMX tokens. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We all want to do all of everything as much as possible, as fast as possible, right? If we're thinking about it. What does the 100,000 mean? Not sure what you're referring to, Mike. I wish I could answer that. Sorry. Well, from your experience to be a validator, it just depends. Every chain gets their own say in it. In the very early days of being a validator on most chains, the requirements are very low. But over time, they become huge. Go try and be an Ethereum validator right now. I haven't looked into it in a long time, but I think you need a minimum of $250,000 to be a validator on there. But, let me also paint a picture for you. So I didn't make this up. I went into one of the AIs recently, and by the way, I only use free, open source, pro freedom, non-spyware AI. But I was on one recently, right? And I said, is it true? I forget how I worded it. I basically asked the AI bot, is it true that most of the original Binance validators are all billionaires? And the AI bot came back with a qualified response, but basically said yes. said that, a lot of the financial data, unfortunately, is private, and it would have depended on how they spent their money and what they did. And we would need some more financial records to verify with certainty. But yes, basically, the answer was yes. They've certainly earned enough to all be billionaires. So most validators and most chains will never get anywhere near there. But it's nice to dream about. And we know what the goals are here. So you never know what it could turn into, right? Every chain's got a different number of validators, so that affects the equation. There's just a lot of variables in there. Suffice to say, I think we're going to do very, very well there. And I think it's a wise move if you can pull it off. And if you can't do it in the early days, maybe as Lem appreciates and stuff, maybe you can get in on round 2. And that's not so bad either. It's really not so bad. Will MX be listed on tier 1 exchanges after the DEXs? Yes, I'm not allowed to answer that question in detail. And I don't know what dates, but yes, there are some sexes and DEXs. And I know at least one of them you're going to be very impressed by. That is already a done deal. I was not there for the contract signing. I don't know if the contract's physically signed. Anything could change. But yes, I believe those are done deals and coming soon-ish. I don't know. I heard Jason mention 500. I heard Jason mention 5,000. But he may make it 2,500, but he also may make it 10K. May have changed his mind. We'll see. Oh, I like the predictions. Hey, how do you guys feel about Sten's prediction? Hey, it's just a fun game, just for fun. Let's see if you think he's too high or too low. Just drop that in the comments. The kind of like they do in, what was that old game show? Higher, lower. I forget. Was it Wheel of Fortune? One of those. I never really watched much of them except for when I was a little kid, so I don't know. So how do you guys feel about that by August, right? There's an August time frame. If you think he's too low or too high, let's hear it. Let him have it. Yeah, well, I like the sound of that, and I love that there's big goals like that in place, because I don't care if the goal is missed by 90%. If the goal is missed by 90%, we are all in a really great place, which is all that matters. I'm not here for a defined number. I'm here for freedom, and I want all of my friends and family to set themselves free. It's really the only metric in my mind, not married to the number. But I think validators are a really great step to getting there. The fractions of the token are set up just like Satoshis are in Bitcoin, the sats. And so those are all, anything that's a fraction is a sat, and sats go 8 decimal places. And since you know who we're indexing against and setting the target on, I believe it is also 8. Yeah, there is no finite number of NFTs. There's none. There's a finite number of token supply and token distribution, but not a finite amount of NFTs in the new model. So too low. Oh, I like it. I like you guys ambitious. I like it. Sten, you're getting outvoted. I love it. I'm sure you're thrilled about being wrong about this one, Sten. We all hope you're wrong as much as we like you. And you probably are in the same camp. Oh, look, low. Yeah. By the way, not financial advice, just my hallucination, but I totally think so too. I think it's too low. By September, that's not bad, right? That's not an unreasonable goal, and we would be elated. We would be crushing it. Things will get so exciting if you're right, Pat. If you're right, that's going to be so exciting to watch, because that's so much pressure on the rest of the ecosystem. That also means if that's happening, the rest of the ecosystem is thriving. And as long as you have a thriving ecosystem with upward spiraling momentum, right, where all these things converge and leverage upon each other, that's when you create the flywheel effect. You guys have all heard me talk about the flywheel effect on previous lives. It's been a while since we've had those conversations, but that's how this thing is being architected. If you see it, if you can't see it, you got to dig closer. If the flywheel is architected and you get enough leverage on just enough of the levers at the same time, we're going to get a hell of a spin out of it. I'm not sure what the 100 million is for, Doug. Sorry. 100 million. I'd like to see the token at that price. That'd be great. I'm in. Just sign me up. High for August, double for October. Okay. All right. Fair enough, Mike. I appreciate that. That's possible, right? It might go faster than that, though. It's certainly possible. We don't know what the probabilities are, but possibilities that we can speak upon, and I can catch that vision. 100 million LEM seeds in a LEMX, just like Bitcoin is also. Sorry. Yes. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. I was just trying to explain that in the way that I think about sats. I always think about sats by looking at the decimal places, and at the end of the day, whether you have a little or you have a lot, throughout the last 15 years, stacking sats has proven to be extraordinarily valuable, right? Right or wrong, whether you agree or disagree, whether you like it or don't like it, stacking sats, whether you stacked a little or stacked a lot, it's all relative, right? If you live in Africa and you're stacking small fractions of a BTC, you're never going to get to one coin, but the fractions make a big difference in your life. So the seeds here can also add up to something very significant. A lot of people are disappointed with the mining distribution, right? Mining, God, it's hard to shake that term. With the reward distribution, a lot of people were disappointed there's fractions of a token, but that's irrelevant. It only matters how much value the token has down the road, right? It's all relative, right? With the debt reward distributions, it was one full token, but one full token right now is worth $3. If you're that makes me vomit just saying that out loud. Ooh, I think I just throw it in my mouth. But the LEM seeds, right? Like some of the price predictions here that we're seeing in the chat, those are yours, not mine. But if you have 0.1 of a lemon token and it goes to $1,000, you still have something of significant value. You may not retire, but there's real value in that. If billions of eyeballs ever do come knocking, right, just a fraction of buying $1 of LEMX, right, not talking about us or the L2 that are waiting or the institutional money, right, it could get really exciting. You guys, hopefully you see by now, we're talking about very tightly restricted supply and trying to engineer rabid buying demand for very little supply. I mean, that's the equation. That's what we're all gearing for and architecting and participating in. When we're validators and we grab a chunk of tokens and lock them up again and lock them into a 3-year contract, guess what we're doing? Shrinking the supply. We're constantly shrinking the supply. When delegated stakers want to come stake with us validators, even if they're not validators, they want to get staking rewards. We shrink the supply. We take it out, right? But we're going to give people the opportunity to not spend the golden goose, to get rewards and not have to sell their assets and miss out on the future appreciation. So what are people most likely to do? If they think it's going to go up and do really well, do they want to sell the asset? No, they just want to be able to use it a little. And we're going to give them exactly that. Any physical security tokens for our personal protection. That's not a bad plan, Rick. That may become a real issue. Quality problem, but yes, a real one no less. Right. So the leverage against the tokens, all this stuff that's about to come is huge. And what do you think happens when the whole world figures out how many problems LemPay solves? I have my hallucinations. Anyway, friends, it's getting a little bit late here. We're going to be doing another call again in 4 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm going to go take a break, go whip up some food, all that fun stuff. Let you guys catch your ears a break. You're going to be sick of seeing Jay and I soon enough. And we'll catch you on the call, though. I will get the call details out shortly. Take care. Have a good one.